Welcome to the Biz Gone Social podcast. We help entrepreneurs navigate how to get known, get customers, and get the edge over their competition. Here is your host, Lorraine Duncan.
So here we are on the Biz Gone Social podcast, and I'm so glad to see you here and that you're here. And I promise you, as always, I just want to give you a little bit of verbal caffeine that's going to energize your business and your social media marketing and help you stay social. And welcome, Andrew. How are you today?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me on your show.
Why don't you tell my audience a little bit about what you do and who you serve?
Sure. So I'm a fractional CMO and growth consultant. I work with small businesses and help them acquire new customers, generally with the goal of growing their revenue.
Awesome. And so basically you work with small business owners. You work with any like mid-sized companies?
It ranges. So it's everything sometimes from like a solopreneur or someone who just, has their own business, all the way to companies that are at 50, 100 people who even sometimes have a small marketing team. And then in that case, I'll work directly with the marketing team. Otherwise, I work directly with the business owner.
Yeah. So now I understand that you come from like a high tech background. So how did you get into marketing?
Sure. So I actually started out in tech specifically. And then 2 years into working in tech, I was in my early 20s and I realized, hey, tech is communicating with computers and machines, which is okay. And I was good at it, but it, felt kind of limited. And then I came across internet marketing back in the day. And I think it was fascinating for me because, there's the persuasion side of it. There is also consumer behavior side of it. And I think it's the psychology aspects of it and being able to use it to influence people's decisions and actions was very appealing to me. So that's kind of how I got into marketing.
What kind of, with growing businesses and helping people with their marketing, what kind of growth strategies are your clients seeing success with today?
Sure. So specifically in the last 6 months, a lot of clients and I think companies are just trying to be careful with their budget and what they spend it on. So a lot of my strategies are more organic. Like I don't just tell them to run more ads because a lot of them just don't have the budget. So, so like everything from using cold email or email marketing. I'm also a big fan of partner marketing where you find someone else who targets the same audience, but is not a competitor and just partnering with them because both of you benefit from that. And I also like doing things like tapping into existing communities and using that to, reach a very specific type of audience that's not even yours. So you didn't have to spend a lot of money and time to build that audience.
Right. Now, are you working a lot? This is the big trendy word lately, and everybody's talking about ChatGPT. Are you using that a lot in your marketing strategies?
I do use it. I like to use it myself, and then I like to also show my clients how to use it. What's great about ChatGPT is you can pretty much use it like a contract worker, except you really only have to pay the $20 per month if you want the plus version, which gives you sort of unlimited queries. And because you can give it all the instructions, you can almost save like threads or templates. So like if you need some copywriting work done, you can just give it all the instructions, voice, tone, target audience. And it's kind of impressive what it comes back with. It's not going to be perfect, but it's 60, 70% of the way there. So, you can really save a lot of time and you obviously need to do some final editing, but I find it great for like content generation, for brainstorming, and even for like strategy planning.
Yeah, I've been able to use it a lot in my business and I see the power of it. What's really weird, it's starting to use words that I use, which is really freaky.
Yeah, I mean, that means the model is learning and adapting, which I think is why it's pretty powerful. But you're right, it is kind of scary too to think that at some point, might be able to just duplicate, a person or what that person says even.
Yeah, someday it's going to be me and then I can just disappear, I guess.
Yeah. That's the dream is that, like you wouldn't have to work and ChatGPT does the work for you.
Yeah. Now, you also, what social media platform do you spend a lot of time on?
I spend a lot of time on LinkedIn, specifically because I go after business owners and I do a lot of B2B marketing, and I find that LinkedIn is great for that.
Yeah, and that's an interesting way you just said that just now. There's a lot of people out there that, and I know you've seen it because you're on LinkedIn, is that I'll connect with somebody for the very first time and all of a sudden they're selling me their stuff in 3 paragraphs. And honestly, I don't have time to read 3 paragraphs. What what is your unique way of reaching out to a business owner without sounding spammy and just, like the kind of like buy my shit type of person? Because honestly, it's not really, I don't know. I find it to be like somebody trying to go from the first date to the kiss immediately. And I'm like thinking, but I don't even know you. So why should I even like you or trust you? What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, and you're so right. And I think that's the most common use case for LinkedIn. And they actually call it pitch slapping, where the first message or even the connection request you get is just someone pitching you their product that you don't know them. There's no reason to trust them. And often those connection requests or messages just get ignored. So what I suggest doing on LinkedIn is just taking time, like being very targeted, right? So if you know you're selling to business owners, you can use the LinkedIn search to find a few of those people. And maybe your goal should be to try to reach out to 5 or 10 every day through a connection request. And then once they accept, through a DM. Some LinkedIn profiles have open DMs, so you don't even need to be connected to DM them. I think, but I think whether you're sending the connection request or the DM, it needs to be something personalized, intriguing, and a conversation starter, not a pitch. So like maybe you notice, hey, they want to, like one of the actually things I love to do on there is actually like reach out to alumni of my college who are now, like either running a business or would be my ideal client because, it's a very easy outreach. Hey, I noticed you also, like in my case, went to DePaul University. And I'm much more likely to get a reply and engage that person. But there's a lot of ways to do it. But it's almost like a conversation starter you'd use in a networking event versus just pitching right away.
Absolutely. I find that getting to know somebody first before even, like going to a phone conversation. And honestly, I don't even really have to bring it to a phone conversation. What happens for me is I bring them to a conversation. And then maybe for a while we don't talk. And then all of a sudden they'll reach out to me. Hey, I see that we're connected and we do, you do social media marketing. Would you be able to help my company do this, X, Y, and Z? And it's that easy. But sometimes I don't even have to connect with people. For like I have the open, I open creator mode. And so I have that service box. And people are emailing me different projects and I can choose which project that I want to take, which has been a lot easier than having to connect with, 10 people a day, even though I do try to connect with a few new people a day. Other than it's like what I'm seeing happening is that it's this bot that people are using and it doesn't even make sense because, so first of all, it's like, I was just asked recently by someone, can I help them with their Facebook page? Do I need help? I'm sorry. Do I need help with my Facebook page? And I'm like, do you know what I do? Did you even read my profile? So I actually honestly think it's important that if you're going to send an automated bot to connect with people, that you really should make sure you're not connecting with somebody in the same profession. Because it's really, actually, I find it offensive in a way. And like, people get offended by a lot, but when somebody wants to connect with me and they didn't even take the time to read my profile, it means that all they're doing is the numbers game and they're trying to connect with as many people as they possibly can and hoping it's kind of like spray marketing, kind of like hoping and praying, spray and pray that they're going to be a client of yours. And it's like, I don't know, that's kind of a weird way of doing it.
Yeah, I think it's even worse when you're selling marketing services, that you're not even personalizing it because that I think tells the person that's getting that message that you're not even a good marketer yourself. So why should they respond. I get those too. So my current position on LinkedIn is self-employed, and I'll get connection requests or DMs that say, hey, Andrew, love the work you're doing at self-employed, comma. And it's just, and yeah, you can definitely tell that they're using a bot of some sort.
Yeah, I've tried some of these bots, and I haven't really found one that's amazing. They all do about the same, and it's like sometimes I just want to connect with people just to connect with people, and I find it's a lot easier. Look, it's 10 people a day. You can only connect with 100 people in a week, anyways. And really, can you really talk to 100 people in a week? Let's be realistic. It's like it's not trick or treating for connections. It's not trick or treat at all. It's trying to create relationships on LinkedIn that will either help you as a strategic, to be a strategic partner with somebody, or maybe get some work, or maybe down the line actually work for someone. But the ultimate goal is that you're really connecting with the right people. So I love the fact that, you as a, marketer yourself, you love LinkedIn. Is there any other platform that you like?
So I am a big fan of like email for both building an email list, which obviously takes some time. I'm also a fan of cold email, but the way I use cold email is different. So I don't, similar to LinkedIn, a lot of cold email, the first email is just a pitch. And that's how you quickly get blocked and even marked as spam. And annoy people. The way I like to use cold email is like if I'm reaching out to business owners, the first email is it's just a few insights that they could use right away, and I'm not asking for anything. So it'll be, hey, did you know that your employees are wasting 60% of their time on admin tasks that you could be, outsourcing to a virtual assistant or something like that? And then they'll open that email. And in the email, it's just like 3 actually research-based findings, 3 bullet points, and something at the end. Hey, this is part of a full report. If you'd like a copy, let me know. And again, there's no even links or anything because I'm just trying to get a reply. But it's all kind of value-based. And I find that when I've built out those sequences, I actually do get replies. And then that's a great way to start a conversation versus just, pitching right away, whatever it is I'm selling.
I love that. I do a lot of in-person networking, and I have belonged for many years to a BNI group, which is Business Network Incorporated. And I literally, one of their slogans is givers gain, and, that you gain out of giving. And I love to what I do is when I go to an in-person meeting or networking, what I will usually do is if I want to connect with them again, I like to connect with them on LinkedIn. And so that gives me an in, because basically I'll say, hey, we met at the meeting, but then I'll get deeper in that and I'll just say, we talked about this. And then I'll get deeper and say, I think here's a Forbes article on what we were talking about. And I find that is it starts the conversation. They connect, they say thank you, and then let's connect in another, let's go out for coffee or something. Doesn't always get to go out for coffee, but it's like we'll go back and forth on certain issues. They'll say, well, what do you think about this? And it's a really fun way of connecting with people. So I love the fact that you actually use email marketing, because a lot of people out there, for instance, I was just thinking about this. A lot of people out there will tell me, oh, email's dead. And I'm like, no, it's not dead, because until you delete it from your inbox, it's not dead. It's still alive. I have bought many things from months earlier when I go through delete, and then all of a sudden the subject line will capture me and I'll open it. So here's a question for you as a marketer. How important do you think subject lines are?
I think they're important, and I think it really depends. I think if it's a cold email specifically, there's 2 ways to do it. You actually can make it kind of short, similar to something you'd get from someone you already know, because without tricking the person, but those will get a lot more opens. Or you can, again, just make it clear that like what's in the email is something valuable and not a pitch. But I think that is the one thing that a lot of people get wrong, because if your emails don't get opened, like nothing else matters. Like what you have inside doesn't matter. And it kind of so if you're spending a lot of time on the topic and not subject lines, you're usually wasting your time. So subject lines are important. Like one of the simple ones I like is just like even just their company name, something that you picked up from their LinkedIn profile. So so again, like the alumni thing works pretty well because I went to like a big college. The college is also based in Chicago, where I'm currently based. So if I just mention the college name of the subject line, I know that person is more than likely to open that email because we have that association. And again, it comes across like it's someone I might have even met at a networking event, even though I didn't. And I don't pretend I have, but it's kind of that same friendly vibe versus like a cold like sales pitch vibe.
Absolutely. I'm going to switch gears, have a little fun here, and then I have some surprise questions at the end. So tell me, I see that my understanding is basically that you were not born in America. So you want to tell me a little bit about that? Because I'm intrigued because, we all, as being born in America, we all talk about the American dream. And I would love to hear your viewpoint of that.
Sure. So I was born in Egypt. That's where my family was born, and kind of the whole, all of my relatives are, for the most part, still are. So I came to America when I was 12. I actually immigrated to America through the green card lottery. I'm not sure the official name for it is, but that was the program. So I think coming here at 12, I do still remember a lot of things about Egypt, and I have visited, but I can tell you that it was a culture shock. Like there were just a lot of things I kind of had to figure out right away. I think reflecting on it now, though, I always realize that so many choices and preferences are often not based on reason, but just rather based on culture. So, and I think people who've traveled a lot too, and like have been maybe to Europe or the Middle East, or even to Asia, that they realize that right away. So I think it gives you like a greater understanding and appreciation for different cultures.
Yeah. And I'm sure that a lot of your, where you came from and everything kind of dictates to you like some of the other decisions you make, even business decisions. So I'm sure that you have a lot of knowledge that probably some of us don't even have. I mean, especially if you work with, I'm kind of an open worker, so I've worked with people from all over the world, and everybody sees us a little different. And it's probably a little bit, knowing how to work with somebody. So for instance, me working with somebody that would be from Egypt would be a little bit different than you working with somebody from Egypt, or even in Asia, because I literally have never been anywhere in Asia. I've been to Africa, I've been, to South America and Central America, but I've been to Europe, but I've never been to Asia. And probably my first trip may be Japan, hopefully someday. It's always been one of my things that I've wanted to do, but I doubt very much it's going to be soon. But I could just see you probably have a different perspective of even how to market to somebody from a different culture, especially the Asian culture.
Yeah, I think, what's interesting is some things are the same, but other things too are very different. So a lot of it, in Egypt, religion plays a big part. So like a lot of the culture is based on the religion. So understanding that too is interesting. And then even, so I've had the opportunity to work with people in Europe, and I've been to Europe. Even Europe, like one of the interesting things is in the summer, most of Europe, for the most part, shuts down. Like people take 3 to 4 weeks off. They're completely gone. And if you're trying to even let's say plan an event or a webinar where you need that speaker to appear on it, you might not get a reply for a month or something. So it's very interesting, kind of the differences between cultures.
That's so true. I totally get that, because I do summits sometimes, and one time I was running a summit, and literally the person, I thought they were going to be my guest, and then they said, "Well, I'm not here in August." So it was so funny. I think they were from Italy and it was hysterical. So it was like, oh, great. So now I got to find another guest. Oh my gosh. It's funny. So, what do you like to do for fun?
So I'm a big comedy fan. So I've everything from attending comedy shows, and I like all the different forms. Like I like stand up, improv. I also like sketch comedy. At one point too, I tried to learn improv comedy. Again, I did it for fun. So went through classes there, got to practice it a bit. I'm not great at it, but it was just interesting for me to get out of, working in office jobs. And now when I took the classes, I was interacting with actors, actresses, a lot more creative and artistic people. So that was also pretty interesting for me.
I love that. I did, it wasn't comedy, but I did an improv workshop. It was like 4 weeks. It's basically giving you sometimes it was just giving topics. Sometimes it was like actually running off of a conversation and stuff. And actually, sometimes it did come out really funny. What I don't think the intention was, but just to see where somebody started and we all went around it. It was like where it went up, where it ended was like hysterical. It's kind of like playing telephone and how the message gets so messed up at the end, but it's so funny how it does that. All right, we're going to get serious. This is the serious part of the show. So what do you love about being an entrepreneur?
I love that you sort of get to do it at your own pace and in your own way. So you can go, for example, really hard, at some point if you have a lot of opportunities, and then you could slow down as well and do other things. Like I love having that control.
Love that. This is a question I ask on every show, but because I want people to know the reality of being a business owner, entrepreneur. We all struggle. What would you say is your biggest struggle as being a business owner?
Sure. So I think, it's not necessarily it's both a struggle and an opportunity. I think, initially, so I've worked, an office job for a while, then more recently have been doing my own thing. And I think initially was almost trying to do it alone versus, partnering and collaborating with others. Once I started collaborating with others, and I realized, hey, we can both help each other out. And you can do that through communities. You can do it through doing an event with someone, whatever it is. That's when I realized it's just a great way to both benefit, but also to get a similar feel that I would get in office jobs where I had coworkers and things like that as well.
Absolutely. So one piece of advice that you could give a business owner out there, someone who's thinking, kind of a timeless piece so that it reaches business owners, people who are thinking about it, or people who are startups. One piece of good advice.
I think a big mistake business owners tend to make is they try to do it all themselves. I think you should definitely do the things that you're really good at and strong in. And then the things that you're not good at, you either want to use a tool or software to do it. You want to hire someone to do it. Or if it's not even effective, just not do it. Because if you try to do it all, you end up sort of doing it all poorly. And you end up being busy, but you don't necessarily end up being effective in generating results or growing your business.
Absolutely. So if somebody resonated with you today and needs to get in touch with you, or would you love to give my audience some kind of gift or something where they can connect with you, what would that be?
Sure. So LinkedIn is the best place to connect with me. And if you go on my LinkedIn, one of my featured posts shares 30 ChatGPT prompts that you could use for your marketing. So a lot of these you can pretty much copy and paste into ChatGPT, and they'll help you basically get a lot of work done for free. It's not going to be perfect. The output isn't, but it's a great way to get started.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for being a guest. And until next week, everyone, I'll see you soon. Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Biz Gone Social podcast. Find us on Instagram at BizGoneSocial for extra tips. Check back weekly for new episodes. Until next time, stay social.